I'm sure you had a lot of expectations of the Silent Sea, just like the rest of us. Maybe because you've loved Gong Yu since he did Coffee Prince, or maybe you just recently saw him in Squid Games, or maybe you know Beduna, either from her role in Sense8 or the numerous other international projects she's done, or maybe you've seen her recently in Stranger or Kingdom. The point is, you may have had a lot of expectations of this drama, not just because it's one of the first Korean drama sci-fi is based in space, but because it stars these two giants of the industry. It's also possible that you just knew some of the other characters and thought the concept was cool. In any case, you could not have sat down to watch this drama without some expectations. I had massive expectations. I'm a fan of the sci fi genre. I have read so many space operas. So when I say I'm very familiar with the tropes, I say that with the weight of 20 years of watching almost everything based in space that Hollywood has thrown at us. And I am just so proud of this production team for having created the Silent Sea, because no matter what I say in this video, there is one insurmountable truth. This was a triumph of production. And by that, I don't mean the casting or the grand shots of space or the expensive CGI. I mean the smaller details that actually make you feel like you are in a space station in an arid moon surface. Like, it's hostile, the environment is hostile. They have managed to create an atmosphere around the story that constantly makes you feel anxious for this crew, not just because there is a mystery waiting for them to be solved, but because the environment that they are in can kill them at any moment. And building that anxiety in your audience practically from the first episode, they have done a magnificent job of creating the world where this movie takes place. So, in terms of how this series stood up to my expectations, I would say they were partially met. Yes, every actor did a tremendous job. Honestly, I think the actors elevated the script. The script itself, the story itself, has a lot of flaws. There are plot holes in the arcs of some of these characters that you can probably drive a train through, but it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the series, because every episode is an experience. Like, the series starts with a crash, and it actually feels like the inside of a spacecraft that has just crashed, and the crew inside are trying to grapple with the immediate, urgent needs of the spacecraft, what they should do next, who's the injured member. It's just, they start you off in a way that immediately immerses you in the story. And it doesn't feel like a set. It feels like these people are actually in a spacecraft immediately after a crash. And I am trying to really impress upon you how magnificent this is, because this is the first K-drama set in space. Space Sweepers was impressive, but in some ways, Space Sweepers was easier to do because it was a movie. And the production there, again, the CGI, the space battles, all of that stuff was impressive, but the Silent Sea is more. Like, you can see that they have storyboarded every single scene. So if you just go in there just to experience what it's like to see this drama unfolding in space, that experience itself is worth the price of admission. or your Netflix subscription for this month. So, my expectations were partially met because the actors were incredible, the set design, the sound. I'll come back to that. And just the overall vision of the director was brilliant. It was splendid. They're probably going to end up getting some kind of an award. Some things that I'm not going to criticize. I am not going to criticize the science of a lot of the things that they were. Okay, so here's the thing. My complaints are all related to the actual screenplay. The original story of The Silent Sea is apparently based on a movie that the director Choi Han-yong had written and directed in 2014. It was a movie called The Sea of Tranquility, which apparently had a similar storyline. I have not watched it. But for this drama, they brought on board screenwriter Park Hyun-kyo. She had won an award for the movie Mother in 2010, and no doubt that she's a talented writer. And in a way, the story flowed really well. So you can kind of see the strength of her writing there. The character interactions were pretty smooth. The interactions, especially like the building tension between Bae-doona's character and Gong Yu's character, was like the tension slowly ratcheted up. That was pretty great. But like the underlying story itself felt weak because, as I said, there are so many plot holes that you can find in the story, and that makes you feel unfulfilled at the end of the series, which is what my experience has been. So, to get down to specifics a bit, Earth is going through a drought. It's been 5 years. Seas have all dried up. Lakes have all dried up. There is rationing of water happening. A class system has emerged where the elites have full access to water, whereas the poor don't. They can just take out it's get rationed out to them in like limited quantities, and your access cards can ensure that you get good medical facility access or not. And Gong Yu, who is an ace pilot who's tried to retire, has to go back on this mission because he needs like a higher access water card, which he's been promised if he goes on this mission. And then you have Bae-doona's character, who lost her sister 5 years ago on the moon, where they want her to go now on a mission, and she isn't fully convinced about the reason they had given her about how her sister died. So she has a secondary mission going on there. And you also have a multitude of other characters who are all more or less convinced to go on this mission because they want a higher access, water card. Basically, they want a good payday. So that's all fine. One of the character is an especially conflicted bad character. I don't want to spoil the drama for you, but the problem that ends up happening is the drama kind of tries to give Bae-doona a complete arc in the conflict resolution terms. Gong Yu kind of has an arc. I would say it's partially incomplete, but okay, fine, maybe you can call that a complete arc. And the villain also sort of has an arc. Really, this is something that I would love to spoil in another video, like go full spoiler and like tell you why I have such issues with this villain. But for now, let's just say, fine, he has an arc. What doesn't have an arc is the original premise that started all of this. Earth is in a drought, and the Korean government or a certain company is trying to get something from the moon which may or may not help solve the ultimate issue. The drama really emphasizes the class system and how depraved humans can be when they are desperate. But at the end of the day, aside from showing you that here is a class system nobody likes, here are humans doing extreme things, the drama doesn't actually do anything. It just tells you that these things are happening, but story doesn't exactly go anywhere, which is why it's not satisfying. Like a lot of events happen throughout the 8 episodes, and you're really invested in seeing whether the crew members or how many of the crew members survive till the end, because there are like some 10 people who go on this mission. You know that's too many people, and they're going to start dying soon, which does happen. If you don't like gore, by the way, there's some gore. Um, I quite enjoyed that actually. I like inventive ways of killing off characters. All you care about is how are these people going to die, what new ways they're going to find of like killing them off, and how on earth are the rest of them going to survive and get back to earth. But by the end of the drama, by the last episode of it, the way they conclude the story is really not satisfying. So in that way, like in terms of will I ever rewatch it because the story was so great? No. I might rewatch scenes of it because Gong Yu has this tattoo. Somehow that has managed to elevate Gong Yu's appeal in a way I cannot explain. It's like right here. Oof. And Beduna is just top form Beduna. I can never not like her in anything she does. She's just it's insane. Like she has no expression on her face, but you know exactly what she's thinking and feeling, and it's kind of spooky how she does that. And the rest of the cast of characters too, man, they are trying so hard, and because they are so engaging, you keep watching. But if it wasn't for their effort and, like I said, the amazing production of the set, the space they created, and also the sound, the use of silence and the use of like this quiet humming that is a constant pressure on your eardrums. It's almost like, the silence of space pressing into your ears, but created in a way that, I mean, there is noise, of course, but like they have managed to create something similar so that you're constantly feeling that anxiousness that you're not on Earth. There is not like some distant voices of people in other houses and on the street. There's nothing. There's literally nothing outside the space station. It feels empty. So I quite enjoyed all of that. And would I recommend you watch it? Yes, I actually do. Please go watch it. You might actually like the story more than I did. Like I said, I've watched so many sci-fis and I've watched quite a few monster dramas. So the Silent Sea really keeps to all of the tropes of the monster dramas. I could see things coming from like a mile away. So it wasn't that interesting to me, but like I said, I quite liked the inventive ways they had of killing people, which was fun. And also there were like those emotional moments, like because you're seeing so much death around you. They're also kind of stranded there. That's another added layer of anxiety. It's an experience, and it's an interesting, fun experience, which yes, I would recommend. Go watch it. This is definitely a milestone drama. But at the end of 2022, would this be something that you would be like, oh my God, that drama that came out last December was just so amazing? No, I don't think this is that drama. And that was it. Those were my thoughts on The Silent Sea. I tried to keep it as spoiler-free as possible because I am attempting a review. I don't do reviews a lot because, as you can see, I ramble on, and I don't know what it is that really good reviewers do, but they have a thing, and I don't think I have that thing. If you know what that thing is, because I clearly don't, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, just let me know what you thought about The Silent Sea. I really want to know what other people have thought about it. It just so happens that nobody that I know has watched this drama yet. So there is a bit of a vacuum in terms of feedback amongst, my friends and me, and I just don't have anyone to discuss it with. So tell me your thoughts. Okay, bye.